Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Birak. I am an astrologer and an energy healer, and I work with Archangel Metatron and other ascended masters and archangels and the creator to bring you these messages. And today we're going to speak about Samhain, the holiday that we celebrate the day after Halloween. So this began to be celebrated because it's the midpoint between the equinox and the solstice. So we're heading into the darkest part of the year until we come to the winter solstice, and then the light begins to return for the northern hemisphere. So I apologize for everyone in the southern hemisphere. I don't know, what you guys have that goes with this, but I'm sure that something will come from the message. So we're all facing whatever hemisphere we're in, and everyone, whether they're aware of it or not, is facing this challenge of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we've been dealing with. We had it a lot at the beginning of the year, like in February, is when they almost came together. I mean, those are big boys, and they were close enough that you could count it, but they're coming to an exact conjunction on January 12th of 2020. Mars just began to rise in the sky. He's appearing over the horizon or above the horizon about 90 minutes before the sunrise, and he's sort of like in the sun, so you're not able to see him at dawn, but he is there. We feel that energy coming up. He is rising from the constellation of Corvus, which is the Crone, the raven, the crow, and it is a bit of a trying energy with Mars rising that was in sidereal astrology and tropical astrology. The tropical zodiac, he rose at 15 degrees of Libra, and that's the beginning of the Via Combusta, the path of fire. So I spoke about that, a couple of videos ago, that these degrees, as the sun goes through, because of the fixed stars that are located there, that it's a time when a lot of us can feel like we want to give up. What's the point? And it's not, it isn't a couple of people who have been talking like that to me lately. It's a lot of people. A lot of people are feeling financial strain or really facing serious financial hardship, physical. We talked about a lot of people have lost loved ones, siblings and friends. There are a lot of people leaving now. And we're in a dark passage, whatever, season you're in. It is a dark passage when Saturn, the Lord of Karma, meets up with Pluto, transformation, and Mercury is stationing right now, beginning to move backward through Scorpio, the darkest sign that we have. It's a lot of heavy dark. And so we all are finding ways to lift ourselves out of that. A lot of the tarot readers lately, I've noticed, have been pulling the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is the feeling, the story, like the belief in your mind that you are trapped where you are. And I understand that there are practical, situations where some of you've expressed to me that the situations that you're in, that you really are stuck and don't have a lot of choice. I used to believe that as well. I am, 24 years into changing diapers and feeding people, spoon feeding people. Really didn't think that I would ever have a chance to have any kind of life outside of it whatsoever. Just thought I just need to make peace with it and not have any ambitions so that I can be satisfied where I am. But hope, a little bitty seed of hope got planted in me by Archangel Metatron. And he showed me how my life could be different if I just began to change my thinking. So we're dealing with deep psychological issues of feeling trapped, scenarios coming up when, someone abused their power, the power that they had over us, where a lot of us dealing with the root chakra issues, when the root chakra is closed because of fear or rejection or abandonment. A lot of times that happens as when we're children. And, Metatron's been speaking to getting back to basics, the basic human need of connection and fostering that nurturing and caring for the inner child. Because if we've missed that, then the first water sign is Cancer, and that's what that's about, that the connection between whoever the caretaker is. Most of the time it's the mother, but whoever was the nurturer, the one that was in charge of making sure that you were emotionally well. And most of us were born to broken people. And I'm not insulting anyone. We all choose our own soul's path, and that's for whatever reason we took that on. And now it's time to pay attention to that. He's saying it's time to give the inner child the attention that was lacking. Okay? And this is when we are finding, doing breathing exercises that will help you to come to that place of feeling centered and grounded and safe. When you're open, like the baby, waiting for, the little baby bird with their mouth open, waiting for the food to come in, or looking for approval from that person, and you're just constantly shut down. Even if it's a mother who is just under a lot of stress and never doesn't make a lot of eye contact or always has like a stressed out face, our little baby egos take that personally, and that's a wound. I mean, I speak to so many of you who don't even remember your childhood. And I used to think maybe that was better, but now I really don't think so. I think that that's probably just as bad when you can't remember the trauma that you went through. But what happens when that occurs, or when there's a break in the nurturing and those needs are not met, is that we begin to believe that our needs are insignificant, that we're wrong for wanting what we want, that we're denied like the things that we're passionate for and our desires. Then a little part of us believes that what we want isn't that important, and who cares? We should look to the needs of others, because obviously if our needs were valid, they would have been met. And this is Pluto. This is the subconscious. This is why he is the planet of power, because the subconscious rules 90% of the decisions that you make. The way that you live your life is ruled by the beliefs in the subconscious mind, and it's a lot to overcome. So we're now finding ways of fostering, the inner child, and telling our inner child, I love you, I accept you, your needs are important to me, I'm the adult in charge, I will provide your safety and your security. It's okay that you want the things that you want. It isn't wrong for you, he's saying, to want more for yourself, to desire to have a bigger life, a more exciting life, to have your needs met, to be without financial difficulty. And we're going to I'm just going to invite your ancestors, if it's okay with you, you could just say yes, that you're able to feel them there with you now, supporting you. Just say yes. So I want you to just feel yourself being buoyed by the ancestors. That's an important connection to keep up with, to stay in touch with, even if you aren't able to hear them, or, a lot of times people aren't sure if they're imagining. If you have a thought that comes to you when you're thinking of a loved one who is deceased, then most likely that's them communicating with you. It's not always audible. You'll just sense that their presence with you. And the veil is very thin right now, so I know that all of you are able to feel them with you, and gather strength from them, is what I'm hearing now. Okay. So the holiday was celebrated on the 1st of November because that was the midpoint. Now, actually, astrologically, it's November 6th, 7th, something like that. So you have like a week of it, we'll just say. And this is when the veil is very thin. I remember the first time that I went to a healing circle to volunteer. I actually worked with a girl who had just lost a grandfather. And it was almost like there was a live person sitting across from me, speaking to me. It was so easy to hear every nuance. It was like I was having a conversation with someone. An actual, live person. So it is true that the veil is very thin right now. And if you're very sensitive, you can be feeling a lot of the shadow that's going on. Saturn and Pluto in their lower form are abuse of power and like Stalin type of dictatorship, where the government's just like not paying any attention to integrity or truth or honesty, just doing whatever they want. We see that reflected in all of the uprisings going on. And as within, so without, as above, so below. All of the things that are playing out in the planets and in the collective, we're feeling those internally. And, Pluto rules the deep psychological, it's like where we have stored in the subconscious all of the teachings of the Crone, the ancestors, the way that, they used to connect to the earth. And we've lost so much of that throughout time, as time has gone by and religion started playing a role. And from like 1400 to 1800, or in that period of 400 years, they think that about 9 million women were persecuted and killed just for practicing ancient. It might have been, I'm sure that there were men in there too, but it was for practicing, their ancient, ancestral, traditional, Wiccan practices, and all of the different. I'm sorry, you guys. This Mercury retrograde's messing with me. Metatron actually gave me a download before I started that I would be able to communicate clearly, and I was like, okay. So just bear with me. It's on my Neptune as well. So. And that I want to talk to as well, because as Mercury is going through Scorpio, he's going to be forming trines. He's already had one trine with Neptune, and he's going to have a couple more. So that's divine inspiration. But during his retrograde, Neptune will be retrograde. And so it can be that we feel a lot of sorrow. So Metatron, I pulled some cards for us for today. Now I understand why he did that, because it really is like not that easy to keep the thoughts straight. So it's handy to have these cards. And I really enjoy this deck. I recommend it. I'm just making sure that I have the cards in order. I'll put this in the description box, but the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And the first card that he gave me is the Journey. The owl is wisdom. We have the sun behind him. And you can see the way that he is crossing his hands over his heart. This card speaks more about the internal journey. And the journey that we make that is like the journey, it's like they're going within now. Spending time as a hermit, listening to your subconscious, listening to the messages that your soul has to bring you. Your soul is never depleted. Each of us are a spark of the light that makes up the alpha and the omega, the eternal light, the light that has no beginning and no end, just as an energy of pure unconditional love. Your soul is a little spark of that. All of us together comprise that light. And we are still, the illusion is that we're separated. Okay, the earth, the way that we think of it in the human consciousness is that we broke away from it, but that's not really the way that it works. We are intrinsically connected, is what he's saying, that we're all sparks of the divine. And your soul is a source, he's saying, of solace, of comfort, of strength. Your soul does not grow weary, and your soul understands very well the timing of the earth and the cycles and the passages that the earth makes and humankind makes, just as well as as your soul understands the journey that you're on. And so he's saying, with appreciation and understanding, your soul is never disappointed in you. Your soul is always on your team, okay, and ready for you to gather strength from your soul, okay? And so this journey is a journey within, to listen to our own inner wisdom. It's a time to heal our hearts and to provide that nurturing that we did not receive, okay, as a child, or when you felt like you were just never approved of. This is when you start saying things to yourself. And for those of you who are struggling financially, I know I've had quite a few messages about that, really practicing saying, I am worthy of, I deserve. Because if you keep doing that enough, chances are that you may hear a voice that says, like, well, what about, it could be that there's, and it typically is, that there's something in the subconscious that still believes, a part of you, an aspect of you that still believes that you're unworthy for whatever reason. And there's so many different reasons for that. But somebody taught you too, Metatron is saying, that someone reflected to you and you believed that teaching, that you were unworthy, that your needs are not that important, you were overlooked or underestimated. And now he's saying that that could be the outlook that you have of everything around you. Ask for a miracle. You deserve a miracle. You're a spark of God. You are worthy and deserving just because you are. You don't ever have to earn anything like that. Okay, we're moving away from religion now. We're coming into the fullness of our light and coming into full connection with our higher self. You are worthy and deserving. And he's saying that there's no standard that you need to meet in order to be provided for. That's a divine birthright, that your needs be provided for. And, you know, I was going through just so many things with just huge expenses that I was not counting on, just one after another. And I always was fine. I mean, it was amazing. It's amazing. That's how we learn trust, is going through these times. It isn't because, you know, I heard a tarot reader would pull the Tower card the other day and say, you know, this is because you didn't do something when you were supposed to do it. No. The Tower comes because it's part of our growth. It's like we need, and the Saturn-Pluto connection is about something old falling away. This isn't the time to, he's saying, like, spin your wheels in a relationship that has long since been finished, and you know very well that it is, or to stay in a dead-end job. This is when the universe, he's saying, will give you a gentle push, and then it will, you'll have no other choice but to make a move. Okay, that's the Tower, and that's the Saturn-Pluto aspect that we're working with now. And I'm not going to, you know, I mean, there's going to be breathers, or, you know, like times that it doesn't feel quite so heavy, but it's really in what you decide that how you're going to perceive it. You know, the Eight of Swords card is about the illusion that you're trapped, that you're in prison, that you can't get out from under whoever has control over you. And that's something that I'm dealing with that I didn't expect to be coming up right now. So I had the gentle push, which was quite shocking. But I know that they would call it a gentle push. But nothing like so serious happened. But just the hint that that's where I was headed was pretty scary to me. But all of us are going to be having this come up during this period, okay? It may not happen until a year from now for you, but something is going to fall away because we need that awakening energy. We're finishing, it's a 34-year cycle when Saturn and Pluto meet up together. So now we're closing the books, wrapping up the story of what went on the last time that they met, and it was set, like, okay, this is what you're going to be dealing with for the next 34 years. And I know those of you who are younger, it'll just be, all of us now are going to have a new set, new marching orders. Okay. And he was talking about thinking outside the box and choosing a destination that's different. And he's talking about not getting hung up in the details, that you don't have just one choice. You may know exactly where it is that you'd like to go. And he's saying to be open to the many routes that can take you to that final destination. And he's saying that a lot of us are feeling panicked because it may be a challenge for us to release the control of not knowing what's happening next. That's me. For sure. I mean, you know, when you're kind of like in that period where you know something, and I know a lot of you can feel it, like something's coming. But just to be open, because you know, we're not finished yet. We're still in the tunnel. We're still going through the tunnel. See that light. See the light at the end of the tunnel. He kept playing the line from the bridge over troubled waters when your dreams, see how they shine. And he always shows it to me like that in dreams. It's always like the city of gold, and it's very shiny. So imagine, like, if you can spend any time doing manifesting, this is a very powerful time. Okay, Scorpio season. Scorpio is the most powerful sign. And it's dark, but it transforms. The Scorpion becomes the eagle. And we're going to go over that card in a little while. But try to spend time manifesting. You don't have to get like the details or the particulars, but see yourself where you want to be. Not with a certain person, unless you're with that person now. But imagine the relationship that you'd like to have, and what that feels like to be in that energy and to have an exchange and a conversation, or just to be sitting on the couch while you're reading books at the same time, or what have you. Just imagine that. Imagine the home that you want to live in. What do you feel like when you're in that home? What do your friends think about what you've achieved? If you have a subconscious story that, you know, this person or this person might be ticked off if I get this stuff, that's hindering you. And also holding on to control of having to know, because we're learning trust. That's when the Tower comes. That's when you just have to say, okay, I surrender. That's the big lesson with Pluto. And then we spoke about the sun. Because Pluto relates to power, and the power being the solar plexus, Metatron he's actually been doing this with me for a while, but now starting with clients doing it, placing that sun into your field and seeing it going into the solar plexus. See the solar plexus shining like a sun, because a lot of us are feeling like that shifting sand kind of feeling. And, you know, that's Pluto and Saturn together, where mountains moving, things changing, Uranus, things coming about swiftly that we're not prepared for, that we didn't expect. And it can leave us feeling, you know, like this. So if you can just, you know, calmly center yourself in your heart, and then go down into the solar plexus, put the sun there, and then go down into the root chakra. And they've been showing me the root chakra opening as a flower that's facing the earth, and then growing from the flower are the vines that go down deep into the earth. If you just do that through breath, I'm making a video. Okay, sorry everybody. Take it out of the oven. I made meatloaf shaped like feet for dinner for my children. So I told him to set the timer, and then he was like, the timer went off. Forgot to tell him what to do when the timer went off. And then the drum. So this is about, he's saying, listening to your own guidance, listening to the guidance of your higher self, of spirit. and being different, being the one that stands out, being the one that isn't, panicked about the things that are going on. I find a lot of times when I post like different news stories of all of the things that are going on now, a lot of people's reactions are angry. I'm just putting it out there like, oh, this is what's happening now. But there's no reason to be angry. Like, we don't need to react like everyone else does. How are we different if we're ticked off? Or, I mean, a lot of it is shocking to me that people are blind to what's happening, but marching to the beat of a different drummer means like being in the world, like Jesus said, being in the world, but not of the world. He's saying not having a different response than the typical response, just being like, okay. And then just imagining, I'm not saying that it's easy, but seeing what it's going to be when this period is finished. This is going to be, yes, right now we're dealing with this small bit of it, but it's going to play out over a period of time. So holding the higher vision for where the planet is going, and not allowing ourselves to be absorbing the sorrow that we see happening, or taking that anger into your energy. Marching to the beat of a different drum. And then he was also saying that trust is what we're learning when we leave the beaten path, when we decide that we're going to go a different way. And then, and guess which way we're going? It's the beauty way. So he was saying, I was writing down recognizing the beauty all around you, and he was saying admiring the beauty all around you. Even just the flowers, like any flowers and now, we have the fall leaves, and there's always something beautiful to remember, a memory, but something like whatever you can tell yourself to encourage yourself right now. We need to be encouraged. We need to be uplifted, and to remember why we came here. We didn't come just to get all bogged down and like, oh, can you believe this? No, we came to make a difference and to shine, so that when we come back, we can see how much things have improved. Okay. And to draw strength, he's saying, from the ancestors and from the beauty of our past and what our ancestors have been through. I mean, really, too, when you look at the progress of the world, like, think of how different it is from just 100 years ago. It's not that long ago that we weren't going to watch somebody get hung. Like, come on, kids, after church on Sunday, go down to the town square. We don't do most of the world, we don't do barbaric things like that anymore. Humanity really is evolving. It might not be so easy to see these days, but humanity really is evolving. And then soul retrieval. And this is what we're talking about in getting back that piece that was stolen. When we came in as those fresh, new souls, excited to do what we were going to do to change the world. And then bam, right off the bat, something hurt us. Somebody hurt us. Somebody wounded us. Within those early years, taking back that piece of yourself and allowing yourself to be comforted now you can do it in meditation, where you just see yourself going to yourself as a child and picking yourself up, speaking kindly to to the child, you as a child. And then we have the eagle. On this one, I'm going to read. Eagle comes from the east, the place of the rising sun of new beginnings. She soars high in the sky, sees the smallest detail with clarity, without losing track of the bigger picture, and nests in the high mountains. For eagle, there are no obstacles, only opportunities. She calls you to ascend, to acquire perspective, so you can fly wing to wing with great spirit. Have you become trapped in your daily routine and feel you do not know where to go and what to do next? Have you lost your sense of purpose? Eagle invites you to take a deep breath and spread your wings. When was the last time you opened them? Eagle reminds you that your spirit was born to soar to the heavens. As you contemplate choices, ask yourself, do I want to live in a chicken coop, sheltered from life, counting the regular feedings, or do I want to soar like an eagle? If your answer is the latter, then you must accept Eagle's invitation and embrace the courage that will help you choose freedom. It is time to see through the eyes of Eagle. Let your vision of the whole and its parts become laser-like and set your priorities straight. What did you come to do in this life? Did you come to climb the ladder of financial or social success? Did you come to become a better person, to heal your heart, and to realize your essential self? What is your divine mission here on earth? No more excuses. Of course you do not have enough time, enough money, or enough sleep. Yet the time is now to fly to your chosen purpose. If you postpone it, you are betraying yourself. Look through the eyes of Eagle and consider every obstacle an opportunity. Where you set your intention is where you'll end up. Free yourself and live your highest destiny. Fly. I love that. It was 5 years ago tomorrow that I went, oh no, I don't remember now. It's not called cliff diving. It's not parasailing, hang gliding. I had to jump off a cliff. And it was, I honestly, you guys, was not like completely, I was still, I don't know how I kept it at bay for so long, but it was beginning, yes. It was beginning in earnest because I always have had dreams and talked to Metatron, but this was different. And I had to run as fast as I could and literally jump off the cliff. And my son was with me, and he's a big guy. He couldn't even go that day. The wings were so strong. When I jumped, I went so high. We had to stay up for 20 minutes longer than we were supposed to because the wind carried us so high up and it was so strong we couldn't even come down. We had to land way inland a ways. So, and you know, that's what happens. You take a step, you decide this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, and that's the wind will carry you. So we're going to do a meditation now, and we're going to invite the ancestors to come more fully into our presence. We're going to invite them to carry us along the way as we go through this passage. Metatron has been playing the song Carry On for me a lot. And I was like, oh, is that for video? And then I turned on Spotify and it started playing. So I was like, okay, yes. So carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet on the ground. Okay? And he was also talking about like just allowing yourself to be strengthened. Another good thing to tell yourself a lot, like in meditation time, is I am supported by the Creator. I am supported by all that is. Everything else is an illusion. Every other person who's disappointed you or, betrayed you, they were only showing you things that you needed to see, that you asked them to show you. But the truth is that we are all one another's supporters, okay? A lot of times those soulmates that do those things are our closest soulmates and that's why we entrust them to bring us those lessons. So we're going to do a meditation now, and we're going to focus on the root chakra and our hearts, and then we're going to invite the ancestors to support us, okay? So we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And center yourself in your heart space. And feel your heart expanding. Going up to the higher heart. And bridging the throat. And then we're going to send that energy down into the solar plexus. So feeling the center of the abdomen around the navel, feeling that get stronger and stronger. And going down through the sacral chakra, seeing that as purple with the fountains of creativity flowing there. coming down to the root chakra, allowing that to unfold and open fully. Feeling the energy rise up from the earth, coming through the earth star, moving up through the legs into the root chakra so that you feel planted. And knowing that he's saying that you're always allowed to fly. And now we're just going to, again, invite our ancestors to encircle us and surround us. And I want you to notice as they come forward, you may recognize those in the front. And I want you to see how it's working almost as a spiral, the crowd that's gathered around you. And I want you to see the masses of ancestors that you have in your corner, supporting you, guiding you, lending you their strength, giving their love to you, always wishing for your success, and always reminding you to be hopeful. And feel that flowing in through the back, to feel that support coming from 360 degrees all around you. And I'm seeing their hearts light up like gold little flames inside, not so little, but golden flames inside their heart that match the golden flame inside of your heart. And they're saying to me, imagine the possibilities, see the difference all of us can make together, sharing with one another, hopeful and joyous. And they're reminding you that they take pride in you and in your life. And they're asking you to take time, to spend more time in joy, is what they're saying. And they're saying that there is nothing that you could ever do to disappoint them. That when they look down at you, all they feel is pride. Thank you. And then we're going to come back into our hearts. And then opening our eyes. Okay, I know this isn't very long, but I wanted to have some message for Samhain since it's a big day to me. And I'll do more, we're going to do more healing meditation videos related to the inner child as the month progresses, as November progresses. But anyway, everybody, sending you so much love. I'm with you. Listen to your soul. Gather strength from your soul, from your ancestors. Nurture yourself. Tell yourself beautiful stories. Appreciate the beauty that's all around you. And always, going to sleep at night, tell yourself what you love about yourself. 3 or 4 things that make you happy to be you. 3 or 4 traits per night, okay? Encouraging yourself or telling yourself that in the morning to give yourself strength right now. All right, everybody, take care.